It's September 26, 2023, and the end of Squad is upon us. Off-World Industries has just released the Infantry Combat Overhaul in Squad 6.0, the nail in the coffin of an already dead and dying game. For months, players have been actively flooding the official Squad Discord with feedback, stating that this update would be no good. 3 months of testing and the devs, those damn devs, just weren't listening. The weapon sway, the recoil, the noodle arms, and lack of cheek weld has forced hundreds, if not thousands of players to uninstall. What else could they do? They had no other choice. The Steam store page was even inundated with negative reviews, clearly showing that the devs had completely missed their mark. Were they dumb? Did they hate money? Don't they understand that the overwhelming amount of feedback on the Infantry Combat Overhaul clearly shows that the vast majority of Squad players just don't want it? It's there, clear as day. More negative reviews than positive in Discord, on Reddit, and now on Steam for the world to see. Squad was once a fun game, and they ruined it. OWI ruined it, and the player base was leaving in droves. Just look at the Steam charts. We can see that the player base dropped by... Okay, well, the player base may have grown by 24%, but that's just because people were trying it out. They needed to see for themselves just how bad the ICO really was. We can clearly see there, in November 2023, the player base started its rapid decline, dropping 6.28%, even having a lower peak player. Okay, well, maybe the player base peak, honestly, it's not a good way to judge stats. We want percentages, we want averages, and after the massive 6% drop in November, we have December, which continued. Even if it increased nearly 6%, but that's because of the free weekends, not the ICO. And the sales, it was on sale, and also the Turkish army. Of course, people want to try out the new stuff. They will buy it, they'll buy it on sale, they'll try it on the free weekend, but then they'll never play it again. The ICO is even ruining new players' experiences now, as well as the old players. Now we can look at 2024 and see the real damage ICO has done. 11,000... All right, I can't keep it up. 11,000. Yeah, we're dropping the doom and gloom shtick. In January 2024, 4 months after the Infantry Combat Overhaul, Squad had an average player count of over 11,000. That is actually a record. There have never been more people playing Squad concurrently than right now. And it's actually about to hit another record, since in the past 30 days, which means practically all of February, the average is even a couple hundred more than that. This is even while we've had server issues plaguing the game that have resulted in many players just choosing not to play, and some server communities struggling to even seed their own server. And if you missed the videos on this problem, it was so bad that most people were getting 0 ping Chinese servers recommended to them, and I couldn't even find the 4 servers that I own. It was horrible. Now, I'm not bringing all this ICO hate up as a way to say I told you so. I don't think that's a real healthy way to discuss things, but I do think it's really important to remember that negative opinions online are usually more engaging on the internet than positive ones. For months, the only real feedback you could visibly see regarding the ICO was the endless hate on the official Squad Discord, the various subreddits, plenty of YouTube videos, and of course the Steam reviews when the update did drop. However, the devs also had confidential feedback forms that players obviously filled out and submitted, which helped them shape the update that we all got in September. If the real number of players who didn't like the update was as high as the vocal minority made it seem, well, we would have gotten something a lot different. I can confirm in my discussions with the devs that this update was kind of scary. A lot of people weren't sure how it was going to go when the playtest started, but half a year later, and we can see from the numbers that it's been effective. It's growing the game, and people are coming back and playing more often. This is why I've been so frustrated at the server issues lately, since I feel like Squad is actually moving in a very good direction this year. With the Epic Online Services stuff finally wrapped up in V7.11, it looks like we can now look ahead to fun content like the M1128 Striker, which you can even try for yourself on the Squad playtest branch. Now, I was never really a big Project Reality player, and honestly playing it even now just feels dated. I'm not nostalgic for it, and I'm not really a fan. But but one thing that I have noticed whenever I do boot the game up and play is that there feels like an endless amount of available factions, vehicles, and weapons, and that really makes it feel like you can fight with just about anyone, anywhere in the world. I still think we need a good game mode overhaul to make Insurgency or Destruction more fun, and giving more toys for players to play with, like this M1128 Striker. That's a great start. And if you did miss it, the devs have also confirmed that we will be getting map voting in an upcoming update. There was a playtest on this a week or two ago, which I unfortunately missed. That my house is still being renovated, I have no floor, and everything in my kitchen is demoed. But my understanding is that the layers we're used to seeing, like Yeharivka RAS V1 through 15, will instead be reduced to maybe V1 through 5, and at the end of the round you get to vote on your faction and even the vehicles your faction will be playing with. Maybe you want to go all light vehicles, maybe full armored with tanks and IFVs, or maybe you want to be super mobile with more helicopters. Hopefully this really increases the replayability of Squad and will reduce the amount of map and layer fatigue on the players, since, let's be real, playing the same thing over and over again with the same factions and the same objectives does get really boring. Additionally, we are going to be getting a Q&A in March, and if you do want to submit questions for OWI to potentially answer, you can just reply on this Steam post here. Now, I did browse some of the questions, and aside from quite a few of the Revert the ICO posts, there are quite a few good suggestions. Things like a commander overhaul, new vehicles like the T80 or T90, and even a complete vehicle overhaul, which I assume means something along the lines of War Thunder. Now, none of this is confirmed, it's just players asking questions and hopefully the devs answer, but I don't know how fun a completely realistic armor and pin value system would be in Squad. Squad 44 has this and a lot of the vehicle players like it, but will it fit in our game? There are whole complete systems that need to be developed, and I don't even know if Squad can do that. I mean, modders have done it, but a lot of the mods are kind of janky when it comes to this type of stuff. What I'm trying to say here is that Squad fundamentally is actually in a very good place. There's a lot of things the devs can add to make it a little bit more fun in the future, but when it comes down to it, especially regarding the infantry combat overhaul, the vocal minority on Reddit, Discord, and Steam are, well, statistically the minority. It's very evident because we've seen the game grow to the biggest it's ever been post-ICO. And that's even with the bugs, even with the optimization problems, and even with server issues preventing players from even playing the game. The game is good, and if you don't like it, that's perfectly fine. I hate seeing veterans, especially ones that used to squad lead and were good squad leaders, feel like they just don't like the game anymore, because that is a very big and legitimate brain drain on the community. But when it comes down to it, the community is actually thriving. People are adjusting, and new players now see this as Squad and are diving right in and playing more. I really don't want this Q&A to talk about the ICO that much. It's obviously been good for the game, as the numbers don't lie, and instead I want to see what the future of Squad holds. But what do you guys think? Do you agree that the game is actually in a good spot? Do the numbers surprise you? Or maybe you've just been playing something else right now like Helldivers 2? Let me know in the comments below, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. But that's it for me. Until next time, peace.